Alright, well, greetings and welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, Urgent by Nature, Season 1, Episode 1, Clippers Pitch In. Now, of course, in this episode of Clippers Pitch In, Clipper Surprise, Pan Am Boeing 727 Reborn in Virtual Skies takes flight from Albuquerque to Grand Junction. Yes, we fly from Albuquerque to Grand Junction again, carrying more than cargo. The mission marks the first official sortie on their end of Operation Canvasback, a symbolic campaign to restore wetlands, protect avian, especially wildlife, and rekindle the spirit of pitching in. As the engines roar to life, echoes of Pan Am's humanitarian legacy fill the cabin. On board, a payload of hope, Canvasback duck embryos, ecological supplies, and the weight of memory. Labrador 5-4, myself, the acting pilot and narrator, guides us through the flight. That's both literal and emotional, although this is a fictional narrative. Blending technical precision, or so I hope, with storytelling that stirs the soul. From the desert to the Colorado Plateau, although that's desert anyway, Urgent by Nature reminds us that some missions are not scheduled, they're summoned. And when nature calls, somebody's got to respond, and here I have Clippers. Now I say this because I always wanted to be a Pan Am pilot when I was a boy. And of course, I'm only getting older, and I'm gonna actually try and live it out today. Or while I'm at it, there's a test. Like, if you've watched my 727 videos, my other ones, I suggest you watch those. Not a command area or anything, just so you understand this better. It's okay for you to bust this test, because this video is yet another test. Here I'm pre-flighting. Why do I do it? Why do I do what I currently do right now, before flight? Do I usually publish videos when something's wrong? Not always. That's your preview right there, is not always. Well, of course, since I go to Hoffmantown Church, guess what? Right back at you too. Welcome to student ministries as well. Well, almost. All my exterior checks, I'm doing them from here. Okay, this exit row, those where I see it here, how do you get out? True or false? Same thing from here. Pull, turn. And for those, let me look at the engine really quick. Now it's too dark in there. I'm gonna come back for that one. There's a chow truck. I wonder what we're gonna have today. Ah, you don't go in the chow truck. Alright. Rows 18F and 20F. 18 Foxtrot and 20 Foxtrot. 2 for those who I see it there. True or false? What I'm about to say. If you're seated in any of these seats here, I say again, if you're seated in any of these seats here, this goes for the other end of the airplane too. Especially for the windows that are on exit hatches. Do you pull up the shade to close? And do you pull down the shade to open? In the event of evacuation, do you, of course, grab the handle, do hence what it says, and of course, do you throw the hatch out and put on the auxiliary power unit? Or there's always another session. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because, especially because we just started school for the year, whether regular school, alternative school, or whatever, especially those who are on homeschooling and unschooling, I made this place a safe place to fail, okay? Even if you just score a 2, okay? It's just fine. We'll work with you on the matter, and you can even work with me on the matter too, because I want to have a special issuance private pilot at very least. And if I was to fly this airframe at all, which I want to work towards, I'd rather fly this for humanitarian aid purposes. Yeah, let me check the nose wheel. I'm sure I'm doing some things wrong in this video. You can let me know in the comment box on how I can improve them later. Well, I'm trying not to go through parts here, so I apologize if I went out too far. I forgot, it's a 727. Let me go check the Cooper vane. I make a mistake too, okay? Alright, it seems as if the Cooper vane is secure. Let me check the nose wheel one more time, okay? If I miss anything in the checks, let me know, and I'll do it in the next video, okay? One of these next videos. Labrador 54 promises that, of course, he also lives another life, too. Labrador 54 promises that he'll actually try and do better. Okay, I better get inside. Sounds like, of course, probably needs help, but before I do, this is how I boarded the plane, basically. Alright. Okay, alright, so next off, before we go into the plane, let me go about that way height, loop down, alright, and we're in, almost. Okay, my pre-flight checks are over now, for the time being, so let me at least get the aircraft, battery and APU running. Hold on, I'll be right there. Oh, we already checked the fuel quantity before we're in. Okay, let me, of course, take the iPhone out because Obviously, that iPhone was given to us to be used. And thank you, Flight Sim Studios, for providing it. Yeah, this is nice. Let me get to before start. At least.
Battery on, APU check. Altimeter set to 1, 0 star check started. Nav beacon, local light set.
Let me go in the cabin.
Exit lights are. Window heat on.
Okay, alright. I'm going there. Go quick.
Departure please. Starting APU.
While the cockpit chaos is going on, let me see. All that chatter's going on. Do you know how to use this? All the other things like this, they have similar thereof, but you know, they're arranged differently. Okay, the passenger signs are on. I heard that. Flush when you're done. Okay, true or false? Before you exit the plane, do you look out the window here? I'm going to paraphrase an emergency plan, that is. Alright, true or false? We have an engine failure before V1, we land straight ahead. We close the throttle, and we yield to oncoming traffic. Also, this goes for you all too back here. Do you also, look through this window in the event of an evacuation? Do you make sure everything's secure here? You know how to operate anything back here. And for the rest of you, of course, do you do as follows here? You use these for as seen fit. I want to go to seat 1 Alpha. Let me ask you a question. If we have an engine failure after V1, and we're in the air, do we come back the way we came in? Especially if we're less than 10,000 feet and still in Albuquerque. And if we're outside of Albuquerque, do we go to Coronado Airport and Double Eagle Airport? And do we, of course, land in the Rio Grande riverbed? Let me know what your responses are. And you do not tell me to quit. You tell me why I should stand or do better. You better help me know how. Because this was my dream since I was a kid, and there's no one left to train myself for, is there? Now the reason why I took the iPhone out today is because, get this. Flight Sim Studio, they provided it. Okay, we should be on at least, auxiliary power unit. Okay. So, without further ado, I'm going to read the signs. Alright, up here. It's an exit. We'll get back there. You know how to use any of this. Okay. Should anybody be seated in row 10? See for yourself. Alright. Those seated in row 10, row 10, can you please move? True or false? We do this to expedite the evacuation process. I'm gonna ask you this again too. Row 18F. Row 18 Foxtrot. Should be located right there. Let's run row 18 Foxtrot. Close the window. Do you pull the window shade up? Open the window. Do you pull the window shade down? In the case of an exit hatch. And on the regular window hatch and the non-overwing exits, and for the non-overwing exits on the typical windows, you pull the shade down to open, correction, down to close, and up to open. This is for conventional windows, and this is for conventional windows like this one here. You pull it down to close, up to open. As for non-conventional windows, do you pull up to close and down to open? Let's go on non-conventional. As for non-conventional windows here, do you pull it up to close, down to open? Do you pull this up to close and down to open? In the event of emergency, do you grab this and hence what it says? And of course, do you throw the hatch out of the airplane? And next off, do we go back here? Alright, take care of it from there on. The rest of you. Show me you can get out of there okay. Everything's just a repeat back here. The rest of you, do you, of course, assess the area before you get out? You assess the area before you get out. You can see. And for the rest of you, nostalgic sunrise. Do you click this door to open it and then close it? And what you do? I just gotta test this toilet here. Same one. Okay, want a freebie? Do you want a freebie? This is how you open this door. Get the rest of everything okay? Alright, as usual, where there's porthole windows, anything with a window, you assess it. Is that true or false? Okay. True or false? I'll say again, true or false? These signs here indicate hence whatever it is. Whatever it is. In other words, in the event of emergencies especially. Now again, in the event of emergencies especially, these signs help you escape the aircraft. In the event of emergencies, if at all possible, and if you can get to them. You get the embryos located up here, if at all possible. Also, true or false while I'm at it. True or false? The embryos of the Canvasbacks are in crash-proof containers. I think we're all done in there. Now, to understand what I was saying here, please see, of course, for this matter, 90s Kids Survive, as well as, of course, re-elect Grit for president. Actually, if you want to see any videos before the test, please have seen 90s Kids Survive, and of course, please have seen Hold On Loosely. The YouTube videos names, those are. I guess we're all done in here. All we gotta worry about is before takeoff, really. Let me see. Let me uncage this, okay? About 30,000 feet. Okay. Alright, today's flight, I'm just gonna give you a freebie for this one. I'll begin the process there of descent over Ridgeway, Colorado. If we're there. I'll say it again, if we're there at Ridgeway. Okay, let's do this. Alright. Clipper Surprise has been powered up and just about ready. We're not just a jet today, we're a vessel of memory, courier of care, and our payload includes Canvasbacks and Canvasback embryos, including restoration kits and whispers from the past. Pan Am pitched in during crises before, in both my imagination and in real life. And since I always wanted to be a Pan Am pilot this whole time, today we're doing it in this video. Today's a VFR flight to Grand Junction. Although weather's not clear, the mission briefing, which you did not see earlier, has been confirmed. We're not just flying, of course we're answering calls. Let's go and begin the pushback process at this time.
Albuquerque, ground Clipper 5, for heavy request heavy
Hey, Mal.
takeoff.
Hey, guy.
Clipper 5, heavy taxi, hold short of runway taxiway. Alpha 1, contact tower 312, train decimal 775, when ready.
Acknowledge it, gal.
Taxiing full short runway, taxiway Alpha 1454 heavy.
Okay, we totally forgot to request pushback. My mind goes all the way back to FS 2020. Correction, 10.
Albuquerque, Ground 54 heavy requesting pushback.
Clipper 54 heavy pushback. Request accepted.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the tug has turned the airplane, prepare for a temporary outage of the airplane, for I have the iPhone on board. The reason why I say this is because, Flight Sim Studios was gracious enough to provide it for us. And although this is a very expensive gadget, especially because this airplane costs more, and not to mention that not a whole lot of people could have an iPhone, I'm therefore using it today. So ladies and gentlemen, as the aircraft comes to a stop, prepare for the airplane to be temporarily out of power, that is.
Albuquerque, Ground 54 heavy requesting
excuse me.
pushback to steer the aircraft to the right.
Excuse me. Have a little fun. Ducks fart too. Have a little fun. Hey y'all.
Albuquerque, Ground 54 heavy requesting pushback.
Clipper 54 heavy request accepted. Pushback received.
Alright, this time I'm sure of it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure of it this time. The aircraft will be temporarily darkened.
After start check. Taxi check. Taxi. Before takeoff check started. Taxi lights on. Flaps 15. Brakes set to RTO. Ignition set to continue. CPR is set to. All jets closed.
Everything's going on.
Century house set to.
Yeah, I'm not sure who you are. That's the whole reason why I stepped out for now. 'Cause I'm not sure who you are, or what type of viewer you are. Tell you what, maybe someday if you're into all that chaos, I guess I can do the rest from here. I'll show you even more, for the matter. So everything left at the gate. Yeah, we'll bring the rest of everything. Hey y'all. Anything forgotten by any of us? Can you tell them to bring the rest? Okay, next flight out. Okay, they're gonna come next flight out to bring the rest of what we could have forgotten. These things consist of, other canvasback embryos. There's the nostalgia. Yes, even though, and of course, although I wanted to fly a 707 for this route, I'm going to go and have the 727 for now. Yes, even though I possess the Airplane Heaven 707, I'm keeping it on standby until, of course, Airplane Heaven could, of course, clean up their act, which I ask please do. for a lot of things, like make the 707 look more realistic rather than spin it off of, you know, some other airplane. I make sure that the auxiliary power unit's off, and I guess we can go in the cockpit from that point on. Not emitting mirage. Alright, no mirage. Okay, there's no mirage. Let's go. Actually, let me reconfirm that. No mirage. Let me check the wings. Yeah. Nope. No mirage, I don't think. Uh-oh. The airplane went dark. I'm gonna have to do it this way. Ladies and gentlemen, is everybody here? That's the whole reason why I told you. Prepare for a temporary outage. The plane. Looks like Casper's running it. Speaking of which, you know, I wish to take this airplane to Wyoming someday. Although Wyoming's a conservative state, you know. Just want to make sure that they're alright with me. Doesn't matter. Go get it. We're ready to go, I guess, at this point. I'm gonna say at this point the taxi process has begun. I'll say, and the taxi process has begun. The desert morning wraps around us like a warm blanket. The airplane hums with purpose. Every rivet, panel, rebuilt, repurposed, and reborn. It isn't just departure, it's response. Nature called, in this case, and of course Pan Am. They're definitely somebody who answered in this narrative. At this point, all cabin crew prepare for takeoff, please. Thank you. Sorry, I had to see that. This light's so bright.
Albuquerque Tower 4 heavy, runway 8 ready for departing straight out.
Clipper flight 405, 018, straight up departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 8.
Cleared for takeoff runway 8, Clipper 54 heavy.
Alright, when we get airborne, there's going to be a lot of air traffic control chatter. So, somewhere below, wetlands await. This flight is not just urgent, it's sacred. While we're at it, the Rockies will rise ahead, but real elevation is emotional. The mission carries the weight for that of extinction risk and, of course, the hope of renewal. Canvasbacks once filled the skies. Today we fly for them. For every wetland drained, every species forgotten, clippers pitch in, not just with wings, but with heart. Okay, are you ready? I'll ask you again, are you ready? I'll take off right now. You're up. Well, we're definitely going to be over military property for a moment here, so I'm getting back in the cockpit until we can get past it. Right below us, Volterra, Fort Hills. Next stop is Glenwood Hills. But I'm here because we're over military property.
Heavy frequency change. Albuquerque approach for heavy is 5 miles to outbound 600 feet. Request clearance transition Charlie airspace.
Clipper flight 4 heavy, Albuquerque approach. Squawk 7554.
Squawk 7554, Clipper 54 heavy.
Clipper flight 4 heavy, radar contact 6 miles east of Albuquerque, 7,100 feet. Clear through the Charlie airspace.
Clear through the Charlie airspace, Clipper 54 heavy.
Let me see if I can turn some lights off at this point. Okay. Okay, we just flown past Glenwood Hills and this will just have to do, alright? Even if I was looking at the airplane, I would believe that a Pan Am 727 had flown by. I'll have to believe it at this point. Right down below us are the places like Eisenhower Middle School here, where I dreamed of flying a Pan Am 727. And lest you forget, El Dorado High School, S.Y. Jackson Elementary School, and not to mention, Hoffmantown Church. Yeah, Hoffmantown Church, where I also dreamed of this. And yes, of course, Hoffmantown Church, this is Labrador 5-4. Is at the yoke of the plane today.
Albuquerque approach limit 54 heavy, is 4 miles northeast of Charlie 8,700 feet. Request flight following. Number 54 heavy, Albuquerque approach. Squawk 411 tree. Squawk 411 tree, number 54 heavy. Number 54 heavy, radar contact 6 miles north of Alpha Charlie 8,700 feet. Roger, Clipper 5-4 heavy.
I'm waiting for something. Altitude slope heading. Alright. While we're still climbing, while the airplane still climbs, of course, I'm going to tell you once again that I always dreamed of being a Pan Am pilot when I was a kid. And of course, even though the airline never ceased, even though the airline had ceased operations and the legacy had never ceased, there's one thing I'm going to say right now is that the legacy lived on. And it's still true. Like, my desires to fly Pan Am never went away.
Clipper 5-4 heavy, contact heavy, contact Albuquerque Century, 132.8. Good day. Good day.
132.8 heavy.
I live it out here.
Goodbye. Albuquerque Center, Clipper 4 heavy, 13,200 feet.
Clipper 5-4 heavy, Albuquerque Center altimeter, 29.9, radar contact.
say that I actually attempted to have a dream fulfilled today. Flying Pan Am, of course. And for right now, we're on our way to Grand Junction. I'm going to say that this is just something I came up with out of my own head. Especially back when I was a student with APS. Or even in the summer of 1999 for that matter. When I had this dream to be, of course, an airline transport pilot. I would fly from Albuquerque to Grand Junction flying Category 5 jets like this one. So far it seems to be working quite alright. And of course, I feel that I got some currency back, at least for now, in flying these old Category 5 jets on a route that I'm comfortable with. At least for now, that's from Albuquerque to Grand Junction, for the matter. Stand by, my keyboard disconnected. Get to 30,000 feet above the ground level. Oh, I got some clouds ahead. We'll cloud surf for a little bit. So, we'll monitor the instruments. Okay, in a minute we'll be on Denver Center. Stow the iPhone away for now. And though I asked for automatic monitoring. Actually, I'll put it away for now. Colorado's airspace, so at this point we're going to discuss landing in Grand Junction. Alright, today's runway we're going to go into runway 29er because in Operation Canvasback Season 1 Episode 1, you heard that. Operation Canvasback Season 1 Episode 1, I actually would have destroyed a lot of equipment. Now don't expect this landing to be a smooth one. And today I'm thinking that if I ever do have to make such a hard landing, hear me correctly, if I ever do have to make such a hard landing, and of course the aircraft has gone in a real accident, I'll then publish the video as well because I want to show and tell that as part of, how I want things, I need to show and tell that I can get out of something bad as well. Like, for example, the aircraft overruns the runway at Grand Junction. That's what I can think of. Now, of course, even though the landing is going to be bad, I'm going to ask you all to treat it like a combat landing. Because we have Canvasback embryos to deliver. And not to mention that And of course, when we land in Grand Junction, that's actually a tough fit to fly the plane through. But we'll do it anyway. If we have to evacuate the aircraft at all, this is what's going to happen. Rows 21 all the way to the back. Rows seat 21A through 21F all the way to the back. Yeah, starting from row 21, both sides. You'll go out the tail cone. 1,000 to go. You'll go out the tail cone of the airplane, getting out. And as of right now, as we reach cruising altitude, I'm going to go ahead and seatbelt sign will be on all flight, so if you have any calls to answer, ask for help for the matter. Alright, let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Acting Captain Labrador 5-4 here. We have reached our cruising altitude at this point, and of course we're at 30,000 feet above ground level. Rockies rise ahead, but the real elevation is emotional. The mission carries the weight of extinction and the hope of renewal. Canvasbacks once filled the skies, today we fly for them. For every wetland drained, every species forgotten, whippers will pitch in. Not just with wings, but with heart, and that's me. And someone who desires to be an acting Pan Am pilot for the day. Me. Okay, in the cockpit now. Now's not a bad time to discuss the approach to Grand Junction. Alright, when we're in Ridgeway, this is what's going to happen. If you can make Ridgeway alright, and even if we're in Montrose, I'll gradually begin the process thereof, the descent. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, you know, we can't be too high landing in Grand Junction. And this is not really a campaign flight anymore, like we did for Grit the President. Grit the Dog for President. Rather, of course, we are bringing, get this, Canvasback embryos, including real Canvasbacks on board. Oh, I love Canvasbacks. Even though I'm an aviation lover, I'm also a duck lover and dog lover too, as well as goose lover. So right now, as we fly, let me take you to the port side just for a short time. I don't look at the sun. I don't look at the sun. Do not. Over here. I don't look at the lights either. Okay, here's November 4752. Supposedly the Clipper surprised. Okay, we're only 100 miles away. That's not good. At this point, all cabin crew, please distribute snacks at this time, which are really, of course, lightweight sandwiches. Hurry it up, move with a purpose, let's go. Have a look at the sun. Durango La Plata. Sorry to say, this airport is too small here for a 727 to be landing in. Alright. Yeah. Heck yeah. We're almost there. Just 120 miles. Nautical, that is. By now, it probably won't be a bad time to discuss approaching even more so again. Alright, we just need to get past Telluride, and that's when everything happens. Alright, let's stop. Engineer, grab this too. Why are these panel lights on? So bright. Unnecessary. These are so unnecessary. That's a simulator. Forgot to turn that on. I always miss this one. Alright, for the next one, okay? Whoever's flying that one. Go on now? Let him talk.
125.35 heavy. Goodbye. 10% or 10% for heavy flight level 300.
Or a little bit. Alright, listen up. When we go to Grand Junction, this is going to be a combat landing. So don't expect anything smooth. And don't expect me to use the phone either for the landing process, since we're now just shy of 100 miles away. That's not far for a Boeing 727. I'll go and give your landing dialogues now. As soon as we get past Montrose, we'll be descending into Grand Junction. The runway should be in sight today, if we get below the clouds, okay? But so is something deeper, a sense of arrival, of purpose fulfilled. Touchdown, I don't think will be smooth. The cargo will live on, and so will the legacy. For all your Canvasbacks, their embryos, they're in crash-proof containers. Telluride Regional. It's my favorite place in the world. At least in the Southwest Mountains. Telluride Regional. Right dead below. And Mountain Village. Telluride and Mountain Village. I got something I dreamed of flying this whole time in my hands. Well, I don't have time to waste this morning from time being I record this video. Down below us, here's... Alright, here's Telluride itself. Nestled there within the shade, that's Telluride itself. This is Mountain Village. And of course, we go here. Here refers to where I'm pointing the camera. You know, if I was going to Montrose, I actually would have begun the descent process thereof already. But you get to fly a little further today, okay? Yeah, really, you get to fly a little further at full altitude today. As I said so. Okay, we're 60 miles away. Now's not a bad time, of course, to begin the descent process. So as soon as we get to 40 miles, we'll begin. What's going on? Somebody calls from the cabin. Okay. If that's always the case. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your acting captain, Labrador 5-4 here. We've decided to begin the process thereof, the gradual descent into Grand Junction Regional Airport. The seatbelt sign was on this whole flight, and hopefully, in a future date, I can fly the Duplo Bunny, which is this airplane, a little longer, where I get to turn the seatbelt sign off and have you all go about the cabin. Well, you knew the urgent nature, more like the emergency nature, of today's episode. So right now, we're going to go and begin the process there of the descent. And of course, all cabin crew prepare for landing at this time, thank you. Okay, let me slash the altitude in half. We're descending now at this point, I'm afraid.
Going to 125.75 heavy. 10% or clip heavy flight level 280. Grand Junction Tower for heavy flight is 7 miles southeast flight level 215 call to land. Make straight, runway 29er, quarter 54 heavy.
Oh, we're so high up at this point. Yeah, I should have descended back in Telluride for the matter. I really should have. Hold on. Hold on, this is gonna be rough. This will be rough. This is gonna suck real bad, okay? I'll say again, this is gonna suck real bad. Yeah, but we have Canvasbacks on board. Well, that's how we're gonna get in, for the matter. But that's how we're gonna get in. Yeah, but that's how we're gonna get in. Y'all deal with annoyances? I could. I've trained myself for it. Somehow, somewhat, some way, shape, or form. A hot air balloon in the approach pattern. Here comes Labrador 5-4 with some Canvasbacks.
Clipper Flight 4 Heavy with 082 at 15. Clear to land runway 29er.
Clear to land runway 29er, Clipper 5-4 heavy.
Don't stall the plane, okay? Don't stall. Hold on. Hold on. They're not bad. I don't think, anyway. It didn't kill anyone on board, did it? All things work for the good. I don't even care what gate I get, for this matter. First and foremost, get out. Okay, let's get out. We're not in. Now.
Going to 121.54 heavy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Grand Junction. Go to a gate.
Grand Junction bound for heavy request taxi to the gate.
Fine, we'll take it.
Taxiing to gate 29 using
It's only a gate.
Alpha for heavy.
We'll just have to taxi it in ourselves. Sure about here a lot. Okay, 30% of fuel. That's fine. Although it reads 34% of fuel, that's fine. Good thing I did not just do 50% of fuel, because if I did, then I'd probably become a glider at this point. What are these international carriers doing here? Qantas Link, Vietnam Airlines, British Airways. What are they all doing here in Grand Junction? Just curious. It's alright, because in Vietnam, things are getting in good ways better. Things are getting better over in the country right now, especially in good ways. Although they're not best. Let's do this. Heck yeah. the airplane in full service mode, and then we can deboard. I think I turned this green. Yeah, won't. Okay, green, all set. Time to begin one more thing to close out the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll say again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Grand Junction. Yeah, for real, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Grand Junction. Even though it's early morning right now, I'm gonna get you out of the sun for this matter, okay? At this point, we'll get the aircraft into full service mode. And then from there, we'll go about our day. Let me set the aircraft to auxiliary. And of course, connect all service items and we're there. What are you talking about? For this one, ladies and gentlemen, prepare for the airplane to be temporarily dark. Anything else? So I'm going to temporarily darken the aircraft. Or will I?
Grand Junction,
That it?
Grand Junction 54 heavy. Could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
Clipper 54 heavy will connect the jetway to the aircraft later.
What do you mean? Because the engines are going on. Well, we made it. Just stand by. I'll say again, well, we made it. Just stand by. Alright. And for this matter here, sun rises to the east. Because a Labrador 5-4, I fly whenever I feel like it. Audience, please bear with me. I'm doing each and everything I could possibly do. Make you all happy. This will just have to do, okay? Jetway connection again. Okay, we'll just use our own equipment for that matter. Okay, I'm gonna put the aircraft into service mode. Then I'll do one more thing to close the episode out. So we can't, of course. This is ours. Everything's open now at this point, except for engine covers. Alright, I'm sure of it. One more thing. Say, I'm sure of it. One more thing. Let's get out now. What they matter. Go on. Out. Get out. One more thing right around this general area of the airplane. We'll have one more thing like right here. Just right here, we'll have one more thing. It's courteous to close out an episode like that. Today's flight was not just a flight. It was a promise that even in a simulated sky, especially from our end, Labrador 5-4 Gaming Productions end, we can still pitch in somehow, some way, shape, or form. And also, still respond and still care. Next time, hopefully another clipper, hopefully another call. Because when nature speaks, we fly. Well, everyone gets the Canvasback embryos out. I'm going to say that is our show. If you like, please like and subscribe. If there's anything you want me to say or do better, let me know in the comments. And hopefully, I'll fly a Braniff sometime soon. A jelly bean Braniff, that is.